Hello and welcome. I'm Anna and I love to knit. I'm here living east of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada with my family. And if you've been here before, you're probably noticing that things look a little different. I'm trying to record on my big DSLR camera today. The last time I recorded on my phone, by the time I was able to take the video off of my phone to delete it, my phone was so full that I couldn't even receive text messages, and it had trouble transferring the file onto the computer. So by the time it was all said and done, I'd lost an entire day of text messages and it was just a mess. So I don't want to go through that again. So I'm trying with my DSLR. I'm hoping that it can record for a while. Let me see if it's recording now. Yes, it is recording. I also can't see myself in my DSLR, but I do have a mirror kind of set up so I can peek around and see if things are still working. So yes, that will be a nice treat to have my phone available to look things up or take notes or whatever. So if it works out, this will be my new way forward. If you've been here before, you might be surprised to see me so soon. I'm hoping to record more often just to help me get into the swing of things and not have it such a chore every month in order to set up and remember what I talked about last time. And then if I do it once a month, it's more of a highlight reel and we don't get to talk about the ins and outs of every project. It's just more of a quick show and tell. So I'm hoping that I can record more frequently, and that way I can talk about some of more of the problems I've had along the way and keep you updated on that. So first off, what am I wearing? So this is a shawl by Melody Hoffman of Bee Mandarins, and it's the fur shawl. It is a little hard to see the texture in it because I chose a very fluffy yarn. This is Custom Woolen Mills 2-ply, their Mule Spinner 2-ply, and it is very lofty. It's also very pilly. I cannot see if this is in focus, but it has a pattern, a texture here from floats that are picked up, and there's a little bit of lace on the bottom, and the rest is garter. It's a huge asymmetrical shawl, so huge it's worked from the bottom up, so I ran out of yarn here and just added what I had. But when I wrap it around myself, you don't even see that bit. And I'm wearing it because it is very cold here today. It's September 15th, and actually should be colder than it is, but I haven't turned on the furnace. It hasn't frosted yet, which is usually, by now it's frosted where I live. And I usually have the furnace running pretty early in September, but with the summer so hot. Okay, I was just saying that it's cold here. That's all. And I haven't turned my furnace back on yet. We just turned it off in May. So I don't know if I didn't talk about these yet. My camera apparently records only 5 minutes in HD, and I reduced the resolution, so we'll see if it records longer, and I have a timer on my phone to check if it's still recording after that. So since we last talked, I've finished the Carex Market Bag that I was working on, This is a pattern that is currently in testing. I showed you this one last time. It is worked from the bottom up. It has twisted ribbing. It starts off with a garter square. You pick up stitches around it, then you work in twisted ribbing and increase. Then you work these bobbles, and then you work a wrap and turn so that you work the rest of this section inside out so that you're knitting. Then you do another wrap and turn so that you work this last twisted ribbing and the handle in with the right side facing. So these are the bobbles. There's trouble over here. And I'm still in focus. No. So then I did another one in this goldenrod color from Eco Harmony worsted. It is a worsted weight cotton and wool blend, 50-50 mix, and it's really nice to work with. I don't find the strain on my hands that I find with other plant-based yarns. This one is not blocked, so that's why it's this kind of funny shape. And once it blocks, it rounds out to this shape. Can't tell if it is doing autofocus or not. It's supposed to focus itself. Okay, so that's one project that's done. I also talked about last time about my Mohair sweater, the classic, which has the turtleneck, and I said it was too itchy for me to wear. And a viewer, Julie, suggested that I sew a lining on the inside so to protect my neck from the scratchiness, which is a great idea. I despise sewing, so I probably won't break out my sewing machine for that, but what I might do is cut the top of the turtleneck off and knit a liner with maybe superwash or something very non-scratchy. I'm very concerned that this is not in focus, so okay, it is still only recording in 5-minute increments no matter what resolution I'm recording in, so we're just gonna go with that. I'm just going to keep doing little 5-minute segments. So that's my plan for the classic, is to re-knit the neckband, a liner on the inside, and I will fold it in and seam it along the edge, and hopefully that will make it more wearable for me. So for works in progress, I forgot one. Maybe I will come back to that one. So I will talk about this Garter cardigan. It is knit from the top down. This is a design in progress. Hopefully it becomes a real pattern one day. It's knit from the top down in one piece. So the back is cast on, and then I've increased, working back and forth all the way around like this. This is all worked together to here, and then you split for front, 2 front panels and the back panel. I tried to match the color sequence as best I could for the front panels, but the back panel I just kind of went with what I had left. I'm really liking how it's turning out and how it's fading really nicely. I'm holding two fingering weight strands together, and then I swap out one at a time. The only thing I'm not crazy about is this right here, this fade. So I might rip this out and redo this section here. But it's going fairly quickly. And then when I finish the bottom, it has quite a ways to go. I'll show you. Ugh. When I finish the body, which is not so far really, actually, I could finish it really soon once I rip that out, I guess. Then I will pick up around the sleeves and work those. And then for the button band, my original plan was to do a big brioche collar, worked flat about this wide and worked all the way down flat, and then it would be joined together at the bottom, and the whole bottom ribbing would be worked in brioche. But I'm not sure. This is kind of like a beginner cardigan. It's not very complicated. It's worked top down. The main thing is just yarn management and color changes. So I'm wondering if it would throw beginners off to include brioche. I could try a different type of button band, like maybe a 2x2 ribbed. It could be worked in the round so that it's like double thick. I think that would be a good thickness for this Garter fabric. I would love your opinion if a Garter cardigan would interest you, but a brioche element would throw you off, would put you off of making it. I believe that two-color brioche flat in just a small number of stitches is the easiest one to learn, so that might be a good way to start. This is actually very cozy. I might just wear this with my needles attached. Or maybe I'll knit on it. Okay, so that is my Garter cardigan. Shoot. This is making me feel a bit frazzled having only 5 minutes to work with. And also when I forget something, I have to run up and down the stairs. Okay, so last time I said that I had a design in the works, a yarn collaboration with the fiber company, and I wasn't sure whether I could share it, but I emailed and they were kind to let me tell you guys about it. So this is worked in, oh, and I didn't bring a full skein with the label on it. That's frustrating. But this is in their Meadow yarn, which is a lace weight llama, silk, linen, and merino yarn. It's very luxurious. It's really nice to work with, and I'm designing a hat style shawl. It is now off the needles because when I wrote it up I realized that the way I had written the repeats wouldn't make a consistent pattern, so I needed to change some things, but that meant that my number of rows changed, so I need to start again, but this is what I have so far. So I started this project when I was camping, so that's why I didn't do much math. I just kind of cast on and went with it, hoping that it would work out, but obviously it didn't. So this is oh, I still have 2 minutes left. This is worked in the similar way as the market bag. It's a garter square, and then you pick up around it and work in this lace. This is the same lace as the Seed Star tank, so this is going to be the Seed Star hat. So it's a repeating pattern. The increase ratio stays the same, and you just keep going until you have it as big as you want. One thing about that project, the Seed Star hat, is that I'm going to try and use wooden needles to help make the process a little more enjoyable. I fixed one of my wooden needles that had broken. I just bought this pair from Statement Junkie in Sherwood Park and brought it home, and promptly when my children stepped on it and broke it. It doesn't take much to break these little wooden needles. So I glued it back together with wood glue, and it seems to be usable now, I hope. So I'm going to try using that on my on this project with this lace weight yarn, and the sticky wood needles gives you a little bit of grip on that fine smooth yarn, so that I won't drop stitches as often, and just makes a more enjoyable flow of knitting of work. Okay, my final work in progress is I decided to cast on the Alpine Glow sweater by Andrea Mowry. I saw that it was a sport weight colorwork sweater pullover, and I haven't done colorwork in a long time, and I actually have a lot of sport weight scraps, so I decided I would put them together and see what I could come up with. It took me a long time to decide on what I was going to use in terms of colors, but what I have so far I'm liking. So this is the green of my classic, but I also am holding so I have this green, the merino mohair mix, but I also have this merino mohair mix. So I got these both from Yarn Divas in St. Albert. This is the onion yarn. So they're a little different, but kind of the same. So I'm alternating these two colors, as my main color because I don't have enough of either of them to work the entire main color of this sweater. And then I'm using scraps I have for the color work. So this is from Ludite Yarns. This is non-superwash fingering weight, naturally dyed. This one is from Utopia Fiber Arts, a Surrey alpaca, which I'm actually think I'm allergic to Surrey, but I'm hoping that just this little bit will be okay. And then there's some other scraps here. So put them all in this little bag. So I have some various scraps. This is from JJ Wool. It's a company in Edmonton that takes wool fabrics, felts them, and then cuts them and makes them into bags. So this is an old sweater, old colorwork sweater. So yeah, I have a bunch of random scraps that I'm just kind of figuring out what order to do them in. And so far going okay. It's a lot of yarn in here. Some other shop news is that the evermore-vest was released, and thank you very much to everyone who purchased that. I was really shocked by how well it went. I kind of thought nobody would buy it because it was like a spin-off of an existing pattern, the Always Vest, and I didn't really promote it very much or talk about it. I had amazing testers, but I just didn't think it was going to be a winner, but I was really surprised by how well it did, so thank you if you showed some support for that. The Lennox pullover is coming out October 13th. I just let my testers know that's the release date, so that should be coming out then. The Carex Market Bag should be coming out at the end of September, I hope. And I think that's all of my update today. If I don't get this edited before I leave tomorrow, maybe I will have some footage from Victoria in here. But otherwise, I hope you stay well and you're happy and at peace and that you find lots of knitting time, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Wow, thank you for suffering through that. I'm here back on my phone, and I will never use that camera again. I have no idea what I will use for future podcasts. Hopefully I'll figure something out, but so far this current phone and my DSLR are not great options, so I need to figure out a solution. But it's 5 days later and I've been to Victoria and I've come back already, so I'll just put some little clips at the end. It was absolutely beautiful there, an amazing trip. The videos I have show it very green, but actually Vancouver Island's going through a drought. It was extremely brown there. Just that we happened to stay in the inner harbor and Bouchard Gardens where everything was manicured and watered. So it was actually browner than, like here in Edmonton is greener than it was there, which is not the way it has been in the past. So anyway, I hope you enjoy these little clips from my trip with my two sisters-in-law and my mother-in-law. And thank you for pushing through to the end of that very painful podcast. Bye guys.